This video is based on publicly available reports and ongoing court proceedings. All suspects are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But before we get into it, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates on stories like this. Imagine helping someone cheat the system, then being the same person who decides they win the contract. That's exactly what the state says happened in the shocking 360 million rand SAPS tender scandal involving businessman Vusimuzi Matlala, also known as Cat, and senior police officials. At the center of it all is a 360 million health service tender meant to provide medical screenings and wellness checks for police officers across South Africa. But according to prosecutors, the process was corrupt from the start. The tender was advertised for less than 21 days, violating Treasury rules, and it wasn't even considered urgent. Even worse, the company that won, Medicare 2420, allegedly should never have qualified in the first place. SAPS captain Brian Neville Cartwright is accused of helping Matlala prepare the bid, then becoming the chairperson of the bid evaluation committee and ultimately recommending the same bid for approval. This is a textbook conflict of interest, and according to the charge sheet, he knew it, but he didn't step down. Instead, he allegedly helped push the deal through. The company's application was allegedly filled with false information, including fake business addresses across provinces, claims of infrastructure that didn't exist, false statements about having qualified staff, and even lying about having the required computer systems. They weren't even registered for VAT at the time. Despite all of this, the bid still passed. Then came the so-called due diligence. Officials were supposed to inspect the company's premises, but instead they allegedly visited a completely different company's offices, Medicare 24 Holdings, and pretended everything checked out. The report that followed claimed everything was compliant. According to the state, none of it was true. Once the contract was awarded in June 2024, over 50 million rand was paid to Matlala's company. From there, the money allegedly moved through multiple companies to hide its origin, a classic money laundering scheme. Eventually, some of the funds landed in personal accounts. One of the accused is Brigadier Rachel Matjeng, who is alleged to have been part of the bid evaluation committee that assessed and recommended the approval of the tender. According to the charge sheet, she and other committee members are accused of participating in an evaluation process where proper due diligence procedures were allegedly not correctly followed.
Because there are 1,000 other things that you must focus on. So as to what was happening with the process, really it was the last thing on my mind, you know. And as an individual, you know, I think everybody is born with a purpose. You need to serve a purpose while you are still here on this earth, you know. So the reason for my resignation was exactly that. I needed to expand. I needed to explore further my purpose, because we are only here for a limited time. You're not here forever. You need to make your mark while you're still here. So there were other things that I couldn't pursue while within the organization, you know, because, you know, when you are within an organization, you are representing that organization. I wanted to grow as an individual. I wanted to give other people a chance, you know, to be section heads. We need to grow as people. You cannot be stagnant. I have been the brigadier for 8 years. Yeah. For me, that is the longest I've been in one rank. So I was not used to that. I'm used to challenge. I want challenge. Hence, I chose to challenge myself. Yeah. I didn't even apply for other organizations. I said, let me start my own thing. I want to do this. I want to follow my purpose. I want to do what I'm called on this earth to do while I still have time. So that is the main reason. So it has nothing to do with the tender they awarded. I was not even aware when the tender was awarded. Yeah. I heard it after I had resigned, even from not even people within SAPS, yeah, people from other organizations.
One SAPS officer, Rachel Matjeng, allegedly played a key role in keeping the contract active and the money flowing. Her job was simple on paper, referring SAPS members for medical screenings. But in practice, these referrals were crucial. They allowed Medicare 2420 to issue invoices and get paid by SAPS. Without her involvement, the company essentially could not bill for services rendered. And during her testimony before the Matlala Commission in February, Matjeng acknowledged that she had a romantic relationship with Matlala, but firmly denied that any money or benefits she received were bribes linked to the contract. She told the commission that Matlala allegedly showered her with gifts during their relationship, including the weight loss drug Ozempic, valued at around 4,500 rand per unit. Matjeng further stated that approximately 300,000 rand paid in her account was not connected to her official duties or the SAPS tender process, insisting it was personal in nature.
Conclusion. During our relationship, I knew Mr. Matlala as a businessman, having several businesses like Cat VIP Company, Medicare 2420 District, and other company. I have never borrowed money from Mr. Matlala, and the monies and gift received from 2017 was a gift from a boyfriend. None of the gift nor monies received from him were related to me having an influence to the awarding of the tender or the execution thereof, as I started receiving them from 2017 while being in our on and off relationship. From the inception of our romantic relationship, he will pay money directly into my FNB account, but when he was requesting another bank account, I asked him why another bank account, and he stated the following. He doesn't want the wife to find out about our relationship, the gift and the monies, because she knows me only as a friend. Now that he has a contract with SAPS, he doesn't want it to look like he's paying me for favors and doesn't want the gift to jeopardize my career, as other people might think about it in the wrong way. The account used was for a friend, Mudieri Kakana, who owns a butchery, and Mudieri will also complain to me that Mr. Matlala owes her money for the meat that he will normally donate to the members of the community, the friends when they are having funerals, and also from one of his baby mamas.
The court granted bail amounts ranging from approximately 40,000 rand to 80,000 rand, depending on the individual accused and their circumstances. However, during proceedings, Brigadier Rachel Matjeng and some of the co-accused indicated that they were financially unable to afford the said bail amounts, stating that in some cases they could only manage 10,000 rand, which placed additional strain on their release conditions. Despite these claims, bail was ultimately granted under strict conditions as these cases continue to unfold.
Of this matter. If we look at the totality of facts and the conduct of accused number 2 after he became aware of this matter, the fact that he previously even contacted the NPA to verify if there was a warrant of his arrest, and these issues are dealt with properly in his affidavit, and I'm avoiding to repeat it verbatim. He still remained. In any event, he's here today. It was so easy for the state to find him. When the IO contacted him during his arrest, he even provided them with his location and waited at that particular place until they reached him. And for that reason, Your Worship, we suggest that 80,000 is quite high. The amount that the accused can afford at this moment in time is 10,000 rand. He will attend to this case. He will be present, so he says, on the next appearance, as he has demonstrated for a period of over 6 months. After becoming aware of this matter, he remained. In fact, it's actually 9 months. He remained. He cooperated at all material times when he was required. He availed himself. And that is all that we can say with regard to accused number 2. And then with regard to accused number 4, Ms. Matjeng is an employee of the SAPS. The SAPS knows where she resides. It is common cause that she's in suspension currently, and it's within reach to the SAPS at any point in time as and when they require her attendance, anywhere that they may so require, including the potential hearing that obviously will be scheduled to deal with the suspension issues. And for that reason, Your Worship, for someone who has been with the state for over 30 years, employed as a member of the SAPS, it will really be a travesty of justice if bail will be granted in the amount of 80,000. And I say this because she has also been aware of these issues, has appeared in other forums to deal with the same issues, and she still remained. The state found her in a house. There was no resistance whatsoever. There's nothing that this 80,000 that is being suggested will achieve. The moment that they arrived at the house, she fully cooperated with the police. She did not resist arrest, and we submit that an amount of 10,000 will be sufficient. In any event, the state knows what they pay her. They know her salary. She's not one of strong financial means, and definitely 80,000 is not something that she will be able to afford. And it will speak to the issues that were raised in State versus Ashes, which then will result in some sort of an anticipatory punishment for somebody who intends to plead not guilty on all these charges. And on that basis alone, we submit that the court shows leniency and grants bail in the amount of 10,000 as proposed. This should be for both accused number 2 as well as accused number 4. Escort, please.
Meanwhile, SAPS National Commissioner Fannie Masemola has now come under public scrutiny in relation to the unfolding tender scandal. Reports indicate that he was involved in steps to halt or cancel aspects of the controversial contract after concerns were raised about irregularities in the procurement process. However, as the investigation deepens, questions are now being asked about the broader oversight within SAPS and whether proper procedures were followed at leadership level when red flags first emerged. His role and decisions are expected to face further attention when the matter returns to court, with a key appearance referenced around the 21st of April 2026. At this stage, no formal findings have been made against him, and his involvement remains part of a wider ongoing investigation rather than a concluded legal determination.
Better that is absolutely fair. I can't talk much, but currently, yes, we have engaged with the president, and with regard to what you have seen, yes, I've been served with a summon to appear in court. I'm not charged, so whoever would say I'm charged is wrong. I'm not charged. I just, anybody else can be given a summon, but on this date you must appear in court. So that is what I have, and well, there's nothing abnormal about that. It's a process that sometimes does happen, and with regard to what might be behind, I wouldn't know. I cannot for the moment believe that any agency of government can be weaponized against anybody. So I won't buy into that narrative, and I probably look this process as a process that is being done, and from there, well, we'll see how the process unfolds as one goes to appear in court. But with regard to the fight against organized crime, that's what we're not gonna leave. That will continue fighting organized crime because that's a big problem for the country.
Right. Any other questions?
Now, as this case continues to develop, it leaves behind a trail of serious allegations, conflicting explanations, and unanswered questions. How did a 360 million rand SAPS health tender reach this stage? Who truly benefited? And were proper procedures followed from start to finish? And most importantly, is this an isolated incident or just one piece of a much bigger problem within the system? For now, the matter is still before the courts, and all the accused remain innocent until proven guilty. But the investigation is far from over, and more details are expected to emerge. Now we want to hear from you. What's your take on this case? Do you think justice will fully take its course? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown insightful, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update. See you on the next one. Bye.